All right, so yesterday we gapped up, spiked above 228.50. You probably heard me complaining a little bit. Not shorting here, getting a little greedy, trying to short above 60 cents. After initially coming back down into the quarter area, we sold off pretty hard to 227 and a quarter. We had one little spike below 227 at 11:30, and for those of you who are wondering, after the Fed announcement came out, the reason I had a script in here against 227 was just using the morning low as a spot to trade against. No different than if we had moved up higher before the announcement and spiked up close to 228 and a quarter, using that as a short spot. Quite often after the Fed announcement, you'll spike to highs and lows, or even a little bit through them from the morning, and then get a sharp reversal. So in this case, we did get down to 227. Didn't get a sharp reversal, but came back up to where this kind of the second down leg happened in the morning, 227.80. This morning, we are spending a little time right around yesterday's low. So we moved up a little bit, we moved down a little bit. The interesting thing to me about this is after we erased this move, end of the day buying, gapped up the next day, but that was sold. So that's starting to make a little bit of a case for a market pullback. The fact that we couldn't, after bouncing here, kind of hold this close up in this area up here. So what I'll be watching today is, do we pop back up in this area here, 227.70 to 228, and fail here again? If we end up blowing through this and closing up back above 228, my mindset again will be thinking about taking out that high and going to 230, but a lower high, and then a consolidation below 227, a break to the downside. I'll start to think of a larger pullback. Maybe just we come right back down into this range. IWM offered a really phenomenal. It's kind of a minier version of this. We bottomed at 133. The next day we had a huge move, 36. Following day we gapped up. I think it did actually short this day. Came all the way back down. But the move here from the low 133s bounces to 135.5 the next day, gaps up, pushes almost right back up to this high from the 27th.
Really?
That's a nice opportunity here, shorting against 137, potentially for move to 135.70. Cover your risk and then see what happens. In this case, it came right back down to 135.70. The second leg took it all the way through 135. Some support here, 135.480 on the first move down, and then also twice in the afternoon. So you want to keep an eye on that level. Right here. If it continues to support here, gets back above 135, perhaps it retraces a lot of this move here. All right, Facebook. So Facebook, for those of you who were around in the after hours last night, you kind of saw the initial reaction was a pop, but then it had trouble at 137. You used that. You probably saw a bunch of people in real time using that as a short spot. We zoom in, I can show it to you. So it was the first time here. It was just basically after putting its high, it couldn't go up, shorted, and then it dropped here. And then people hit some more below 136. The problem was when the conference call started, it spiked all the way back above 137. So if you were shorted from down here, you maybe covered it. But the reality is it failed exactly where they were selling it after the initial announcement. So those sellers were still just sitting there. Then it went down to 35. Spiked a little bit above 36. It's a little bit wild. And then all the way down to 133. So we kind of have some spots to trade against. This morning, if you got in early, shorting it in the 135, kind of using this area here. That's $2 above the after hours low. That's good. What I did was I put in some offers right up here at 80 cents. That happened to be the high about 20, 30 minutes ago. And so you maybe heard me talking about this in the after hours yesterday. Facebook has a history of having really good numbers. The numbers were good. The guidance was good. The analysts are like pulling over each other to say how good it is and raise price targets, etc. That's a perfect opportunity for profit taking. You just need price action confirmation. So right now, we had sellers here. The sellers then came down exactly $2 lower, okay? Right above 37, right above 35. We continue to watch to see if that happens. If the sellers step down, lower high, lower high, lower high. Eventually, if we can get it through 133, you maybe get that panic move all the way back down into this area here. You get your little reset. You look to trade it on the long side. That's kind of a play that's worked a bunch of times over the last 3 or 4 years, isn't it? A change of that would be something like rips through 35. You see it just being bought on the bid. It holds above 35. It can't go down. It can't go down. You might be looking at a retest of this area here where there were sellers in the after hours. It's going to be a ton of volume. It's going to be very liquid. People are going to be able to scalp trade it. People are going to be able to intraday trend trade it. People are going to be able to put on longer term positions. Whatever you want, you're going to be able to do it. I'm sure you'll see people flipping around, making a bunch of different trades in RT. As I said, I'm short from, I had a few shares left from 136.90 from yesterday, and then I shorted into 134.80 in the pre-market. No options. The next one is Ralph Lauren. The numbers looked okay to me. The CEO is leaving, which caused it to go down to 78 initially. It almost got back up to, or maybe, I'm not sure if this is real here, but 83 is a potential resistance. I've got 83, 84, probably took that based on the daily. So you have a nice range to work with. It's already sold off from here, coming back down to 80. So now you'll look to see if it makes a higher low here at $80 and trade it back up again to this area. It's a little bit thinner. I traded, I think, last quarter's earnings or the quarter before, and it bounced like from here, I think from the 80s back up to 100 or something. But it can be a little bit thin at times, so you want to be careful on the sizing. The next one is STNL. This was kind of scary news. So they had already had 2 deaths in their clinical trial for the cancer drug, but they had a third one. And it happened right around the time they did a secondary, and it wasn't disclosed. At least that's what the news looks like right now, that's really bad. Just a complete lawsuit. I don't know if this is the secondary right here, perhaps, probably is. So people may be paid up somewhere between 12 and 14. The patient had died. And it's now below this low here. It could bounce from there. So it's done about its average daily volume. 620. I'd like to see a little bit more volume come in on the open, maybe a flush a little bit closer to 6 here. To watch if it's going to really have a bounce, watch the 6.5 area. I put on there 715, 730. So if it does have a real bounce and gets above 6.5 and it holds higher. I'm looking for a bounce into this area right here. Asia, this was just a Morgan Stanley upgrade on valuation. So I guess they saw it sell off from 68 to 55, which is about a 20% sell off in a week. It might be enough to get it back up to this 59 to 60 area. Let's see. We came off from 64 to 57. Maybe rip it back up. I don't think it's unreasonable for it to come back. So right here. So it's kind of in no man's land right here. First thing I would do is where it broke down from the last couple of days, it had supported at 57.80. You would have to clear above that and then hold above 58, and then you would look for it to kind of bounce up into this area up here. It comes up to 58, and then you see it starting to hold below this 57.80 again. Then I'd be looking for a rollover maybe to 56, see if it makes a higher low, which is another potential reversal pattern. So those are two potential patterns I can see in my mind, and then I watch the price action to see if how that plays out. DLPH. So they crushed it. And we know last time they had some good news, it went vertical. 66, then through 70. Moved sideways a little bit, then pulled back in, erased 2/3, 60% of the move. This time it's come right back up to this failure area. Here's a bigger picture perspective. Interesting thing to me was they crushed EPS, but they guided in line. So I don't know what their history is in terms of are they really conservative like Apple, and so it's bullshit, the conservative guidance. So we'll have to see what happens here right around 73, 73 and a half right now. The bid is above there. If it stays above there, and people really believe that these EPS are more indicative of what's going to happen as opposed to the conservative guidance, you probably see it up here in the 75 plus area.
I think even if it sends up,
If it fails up at where it is right now, 72 to 71 is the likely landing spot. It closed yesterday at 71. That'd be a complete gap fill.
Had this run, it's a secondary.
But it's low. Here's your higher low. Anyway, there's a reason it's last. It's not as clear. But they're in a conference call right now, and it's only done 19,000 shares. The next one is Apple. You probably heard us talking about this after the close. We just thought the news was fine. Just thought it was overdone too much. That's why I tried to short it a few times yesterday. It finally did come off at the end of the day, about a buck and a half. Really, the question is how much more is it going to drift down and get the retest of 130, 130.50. So far in the pre-market, it hasn't tested this. It put in its morning high here at 28 and a half. It flushed through 28. I actually thought this might be the beginning of it. Then it consolidated a little bit lower. Instead of it breaking here and having a pullback, it trended up for another $2. You can see this time it came down, consolidated, broke to the downside, gapping lower. If it pops on the open, 28.75 to 29. Keep an eye on that. And then X, which somebody asked about in the chat yesterday, they had pure profit taking despite numbers looking really good. First move was down. In these situations where the numbers are really good and the first move is down, and you get like kind of that profit taking, watch for the consolidation, and if it takes out the morning low, short it with a play into the prior day's low, which it did, and then it overshot by like another $1, which seems way too much to me. Didn't punch it up in the afternoon, but it did put in its low. It did hold the low. So already, in bounce mode, it's already $1 off of that. It broke down here from around 32 and a half. Did I put that on the sheet? I put 33 and 34 resistance. I guess this was kind of where it consolidated after the morning down. But this 32 and a half, where this leg started from, is interesting to me. Morning low, once it got below there, came down another 75 cents. So, and if you're looking to see if this is the bottom, it's like something like this.
Levels,
31 and a half.
You're talking about like a short-term catalyst that's a long-term low, which is the higher time.
Okay, so since I shorted Facebook in the pre-market, it came off about $1. Now it's, yeah, it came off $1. Now it's, the question is it going to find another lower high? Is it here, or does it spike all the way closer to the half? Right on the open, it spikes to the half, and then takes out this, spot right here. You should be looking at, at least a gap fill, and then we'll see. As always, be patient, and good luck.
Hope you enjoyed that video. You can actually watch that video if you're subscribed to our Trader 90 before the market even opens. What stocks are in play? What levels in those stocks are important? And how we might go about attacking that stock. That's Steve Spencer, 20-year veteran trader, laying it out there every morning before the market even opens. A really, really powerful tool to start your session off on the right foot. So right now we're offering a trial that you can take advantage of to access this meeting and other meetings throughout the day. We have a meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern where you can sit down with Mike Bellafiore and listen to him talk about what's going on during the morning session, what stocks were in play, what the best trade opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.